Welcome back to the Reality Guys. I'm your host, Billy Blinks, joined as always by my co-host, Brian.
All right, buddy.
We are back for one of our absolute favorite shows. It feels like it's been a while, Brian. The Amazing Race. We are back, season 37, episode 1. Make sure you like and subscribe here, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all of your Amazing Race coverage, all of your Survivor coverage, all of your reality TV coverage, whether you're into dating reality TV shows, Love is Blind, Temptation Island, whether you're into these competition shows, like we said, Survivor, uh, we just finished up the Traders US season 3, also covered the reunion. Even things if you're into a little bit of the weird 90 Day Fiance, we're covering that. Plenty to come throughout the spring. But obviously, everyone's here to talk Amazing Race, Brian. We are super excited. A nice kind of a little revamp to the season. So 14 teams. That's the first time they ever did 14 teams. They also are introducing and we'll talk about the fork in the road. I also like that we started right off with a double elimination. You and I are very pro elimination. We like our blood tributes. And so I appreciate Phil for offering it up to the gods early. Brian, I want to get your awesome opening reaction to this season. What do you think?
I mean, I actually I thought the challenges were cool. I know sometimes we're like, oh, this is a dud. Like they traveled all this way to do to dance or like eat some weird food that doesn't have anything to really do with the country. But I thought it was cool. I thought they were both like awesome challenges. One of them a little harder than the other, I think. With
Oh,
we'll
for
get to that.
sure.
But I like the teams. I mean, from what we saw, I mean, we didn't do a preview this year, and that's kind of like we were just busy. But like, I didn't. I literally just went in this blind. I didn't know anything about these teams, any of that stuff. So it's cool to see people go. I just wish I knew a little more, and just a little disappointed on one of the teams went home. To be honest with you.
If this is your first time joining us for the Amazing Race, we do this full recap style. We're going to go from the beginning to the end. So if you're looking for our thoughts on the eliminated player, you can jump ahead if that's what you're here to hear, and we understand that. But Brian, the season kicks off in Los Angeles at the Academy of the Museum of Motion Pictures. That actually sounds pretty cool. I would definitely want to go there. I've been to LA,
Mm.
but never seemed to
Never
end
there.
up really venturing too far past LAX or wherever the business call would be. This where they do learn about the fork in the road. Basically, what this is going to be, Brian, is that there are going to be not pit stops, but there's going to be detours where parallel paths are given. You are going to have different challenges than those on the other path. And then you are actually going to be competing technically against those on the same split path. It reminded me, frankly, Brian, of Survivor, of the things getting split, and we usually hate that. But since it's fresh for Amazing Race, for at least right now, I reserve the right to like it until I reserve the right to hate it.
Yeah. Let's
You're
see
already
how another.
getting there. You're already
Huh?
getting there.
I just want to see how another one goes.
I see it.
I just the only reason I'm not fully like gung ho about it is I think there should have been something after it. Like it shouldn't have just been that. I think it should be like you do this detour, then you have to go somewhere to get a clue, and that's different on both sides instead of like all ending in the same place.
Multi-step, like a
Yeah,
multi-step, not
and
like not a diamond, Brian. You wanted
yeah, like
like
I want it to be
a
like a
like a
couple of things.
web.
Yeah, but so
Okay, here we go. So shout out Logan. You'll be watching this probably. Listen, what year is this, Brian? 2025. And when Logan's watching this review in 2032, we do Mario Party reference of the day. We probably still will. I didn't think of one, but we're gonna do that one off the cuff, Brian. But this you want the pits the detour what I'm getting the fork in the road to be more like if you're playing Star Fox 64 and like
yes,
you have
yes,
multiple pathways and ways to get there, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
It,
That's a good analogy. I think
yeah.
that
Star
and
Fox reference of the day.
and the only reason that I wasn't like fully another reason it's just like how lopsided the left side was finishing first. It really put it
Strong side.
like yeah, right. If there was more like the rights like the singing side, like more people finished, I wouldn't care about like the placements. I just think that that's the only reason I'm like, I need to see it again.
But what I will say is that a big part of our debates that we will always have, you, me, Kevin, like when we do these, was which one was harder? Which one would you do? This is going to give us some hard data. on which one you should have done. And now we can objectively see it a lot of times, but this one will give us some hard data on like, yo, you should have chosen that because look at the results. And we'll get there at the end. I have the results by path and overall placement. So it does give a great context to that. They don't stay in LA long, Brian, like I mentioned. None of us really do. They're going to Hong Kong. Pretty cool. I think
Yeah.
that's a really dope one to start with. Um, they have to hit their route info. That's the first route info brings them to the airport. I do again like them having to go and at least go to the gate and get
Yep.
their flights right. I hated the COVID flight system.
Yep.
I again love the idea that you get to they get there earlier, you get on an earlier flight. So for the original, there was only an hour difference, and we'll talk later on that there was a little bit of the kind of artificial, forcing everyone back together for the most part on this leg.
Hmm.
You had Jonathan and Anna, Carson and Jack, Melinda and Erica, and Courtney and Jasmine all make that 11:30 flight, the 12:30 flight. Han and Golden, Ernest and Bridget, Brett and Mark, Nick and Mike, Scott and Lori, Bernie and Carrigan, Alyssa and Josiah, Jack and Lauren, or Jackie and Lauren, Mark and Larry, firefighter guys, Team Red, Pops and Jeff. Love
I
Pops.
love, dude. Yes, Pops is my favorite person on the show. That
100%.
dude has guns. See him flex one time
Oh yeah,
when he was climbing up that
I see a
thing.
bullet point later about Pop, so we definitely will get to that for sure.
He is head and shoulders my favorite dude on the show. Head
You
and
arrived
shoulders.
in Hong Kong, population 7.5 million people. Pretty cool. You have to take the taxi. Route info is go to Tiantan Buddha, which is the big Buddha at the
Mhm.
top of the steps. The cab ride, very funny. Everyone just in very much in awe of the Buddha. I'm sure the Buddha is cool. It is just a big Buddha though, Brian. Do you think you would be super amped for the big Buddha?
If I wasn't in a race for money,
Yeah, that's true. True. If
like
we
if
were
I'm just
not
there for
involving a game show
sightseeing,
for money,
yeah, like if this was the pit stop, I'd be like, oh yeah, this is nice. You get there, then you can admire. But when there's $1 million on the line, you got to get that ass moving, especially when you know there's a fork.
you just got to go straight up the stairs and grab the route info, which is the telling you to go to the Chung Chao Island. You had to take the Sun Ferry to the island and find the clue in the promenade. Um, Early on, I thought we were going to have some travel issues. You know, we had Chung, the MVP cab driver, driving around Carson and Jack, but he was going another way, and they were concerned.
Mhm.
Now, right after the commercial break, they ended up right there, which made me actually laugh out loud.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh my God, 14 teams. I don't think you got to get super uber worried about like a cab trouble with that many teams. You got a kind of a margin of error to start."
Well, I mean, Courtney and Jasmine ran into some trouble here. It's, and that to me, I thought that was a hell of a comeback by them. I know I'm jumping ahead here, but like that was
I felt like they were getting discriminated against a little bit from the Cavs.
well.
They were getting picked
So
on.
I thought that at first, and I was like, man, it really shows that. But then you kind of look at some of the other teams where it's like they are like non-white teams, they were fine. But then then they said like, oh, maybe they were showing the wrong, they needed to show the Chinese address and they were showing it like not the correct like writing. Do you remember they said that in the cap?
No, no,
So
no. Yeah.
we just don't know. But I mean, it could be a little bit of both. And it just made it was I was like, is this how the first episode is gonna go? Like they can't lose. That would be not a good look for the show, I think, if that they
Uh,
showed that montage like that.
this is where we get our almost, this is what I like to call our new era survivor moment of the episode, Brian. Jonathan and Anna are the first ones in the, like, to make that first ferry, right?
Yeah.
And this is where we get to find out that they were separated for a year and that the amazing race saved their marriage. Very survivor-esque.
Yeah.
We were just missing some kind of a palsy, a limp, some
Yeah.
kind of cause. But
I just didn't believe
what
it.
about the amazing? Listen, guys, we're here. I sit here and I take cheap shots at the Riddler watching our reviews in the future. So yeah, like we're all for it. Like we're united about this. And me and you've been doing this for years now and love this show. But like, what about the Amazing Race? We reunited there. What did they talk about to reunite?
I mean, maybe the only thing I think of is like the cultural aspect is why I mean I like the show and separates it, but I'm with you, man. It's like it seemed very like fake to me.
Sound like a good way to a good audition tape to
So
get on.
and here's the thing, dude. They make you look like, oh, this is like a good dude, and like he kind of sucked near the end.
I'm gonna look this up as I say this, Brian, because I want to know what the scientific term is. But Jackie, we had the maybe the moment of the episode is the starophobia, Brian.
Well, it's because she fell down a bunch of.
She fell downstairs when she was
It's not
kidnapped.
like she's like, oh
Raised.
my God, I grew up and I just was afraid of steps. Like she said, she like fell down the steps like pretty terribly, didn't she? She had to get like
Yeah, no,
surgery.
listen, I'm not laughing that she said she had a traumatic stair fall and she
Yeah.
hurt herself and had to get like surgery and stuff. But like, I don't know how you can avoid stairs.
It just it's a strange thing to come on this show with. Is what
Bath,
I'll
oh,
say.
there it is. Bathmophobia, an irrational fear that can cause people to avoid stairs and limit their activities.
Well, it's just yeah,
Bathmophobia.
it's a strange thing to come on the show with because there's a lot of stairs and a lot of like walking up stuff. And
And you
here's the
think,
thing, like
Ryan?
I have no problem with this team, but like they set the table so early of what their outcome was going to be that like I didn't care that they went home because they got a
Brian,
lot of screen time.
they were
Yeah,
sightseeing.
they got a lot of screen time, so I mean, good on them. That's the shit that you can't do in a 60-minute episode.
They were sightseeing.
Yeah, but no problems with them. They're fine to me, but like,
I mean, that'd be fair. Like that's something that I feel like if a producer, if they mentioned that in the audition tape, the producers were like, "Yes, 100% need the stair chick." Like,
yeah,
kind of almost mad I didn't think of something like that for myself. Like, for that'd be a great one to try to get onto a show with.
yeah.
Not that I'm auditioning. There's no
No,
way I'm going the
no.
Amazing Race.
I always think about when I'm watching, I was like, could Bill and I be podcasters on this? And then I'm like, what would our team photo be? Because there's like a team photo of they'll obviously be on here. They're like, I think it's the no, I would do that over the what is it, the
What's up?
MMO, the Warcraft streamers or
Oh, the Dungeons and Dragons
the
streamers.
Dungeon and Dragon streamers. They do like the piggyback, and I was like, Bill and I wouldn't do that.
We should be doing like a Kamehameha or like a fusion dance.
I would, yeah, the fusion dance would be cool, like this.
Fusion dance would be kind of
That'd
cool.
be
Yeah,
sick.
see,
But they would never do that. You got to
see,
do like
not bad.
But I always think about that when I'm watching the show because remember I said I would do it with you over my wife.
There's no chance my wife wouldn't do it with me.
We
It
would
would be a
not
lot.
win.
That's me.
I
It's
mean,
not
full
doing it with her.
spoiler
She wouldn't
alert.
do it with me.
My
She'd be
wife
too.
would no. I just even like that. Just some of the challenges I'm thinking about would just. I mean, that's a whole nother topic. We can go on forever about that. But she knows that.
Oh no, true for sure. Okay. So we got Afraid of the Stairs. Flight one, everyone from flight two ends up catching flight one once they get to the second ferry back anyway. So again, it was only an hour difference. There was, I don't know. Obviously, we don't look to see the geographical. It'd be something maybe I'll start looking into, like how far away these places actually are. It's not that hard of a little add-on. I'll start doing that next week. Like, hey, this place is like 10 miles away or 20 miles.
Mhm.
Places are probably all relatively close. Who knows? It's a big city. The roadblock. Who's ready for some ups and downs, Brian? This this is great. This is the bun scrambling tower. They have bun scrambling tower, just like how the Phillies doing the grease poles, right? They have their bun towers. You had to climb up and get a clue at the top of the tower. There weren't any buns and stuff, and there was a bunch of clues up there at once too. So when a bunch of them got there at once, it was funny to see them all just
Yeah,
freaking scurrying up at once and grabbing them.
I would have liked to see them pull the buns down though. Like what we saw, the real thing. I think that would have been cool, but probably
Buns would have been great.
yeah. But I will say, I know I'm jumping around here, but like when Jacqueline or Lauren, whoever was climbing up for them, there was still a ticket hanging. Did you notice that?
I did notice there was some hanging, and I think it's just probably like, hey, let's put more up there than we need because like
So
maybe
like,
some of them getting torn
so no,
down
they're
from the
not last.
scramble.
Phil has to go get the last one every single time or something like that.
Oh my God, that'd be so funny.
This is where we saw Pop's arms. He's shredded, dude. Lumberjacks? Like, tell me, you couldn't create a team for me that I want to root for than
Father and
St.
son
Louis, Missouri
lumberjacks,
Lumberjacks.
and he's cool.
Yeah, and they're like, and I love that Phil was like, I wish I could look like you when I'm 64. I was like, that guy's, he looks like he's like 40.
He's just he looks like Dokes from like Dexter, like he's jacked.
It- yeah, I mean, and if anybody who's watching this, like, I love old people on Amazing Race. I will root for them over young people as much as I possibly can. Obviously this is a foreshadowing of why I'm a little upset, but uh, I want them to stick around. I like Pops. Just the nickname Pops. As soon as he said it
Cool.
out of his mouth, I was like, "This is my team. This is I'm hitching my wagon to this team right there."
We had the route info telling you to go to the Lackawanna Street Park. This is where they were going to hit the fork in the road. As I mentioned at the top, two parallel paths. That means there's going to be seven teams in each path. Only seven can do each path. So once seven were filled, you had to do the other side. Um, The fork in the road, Brian. Dance or sing. Dance was a Cantonese dance. You had to dress up in a two-man lion costume, which I'll be straight up. I always thought those were dragons.
Same,
So,
same.
hands up, thought it was a dragon, but they're lions. I'm gonna tell you before we even saw it, I would 1,000% pick dance. Like sing, it just seems like hey, you're asking for a disaster, even just with the words. But sing is to go do the Cantonese opera. But the problem was, it wasn't just singing; it was having to get the makeup on, and then it was the gestures. And you had the lady judge in the middle with her like, she was like my like side character of the episode. She,
Well, I thought the lion judge was pretty good too.
well, yeah, but the old little lady in the
Yeah.
black was like so quick dismissive. She seemed like she was like she was actually like the triad boss there. Like she was just not having it.
Yeah, I think both judges to start off the season strong A
Yeah,
plus from both of them
strong
because
judges.
there was a scene with the lion one where he was looking at them and he was like, I don't remember who it was, but he stared at them for a long time and then it was just like, that's good, but like,
Oh no, that was the ones that did. That was after Nick and Mike. That was their
yeah,
seventh
yeah,
attempt.
and he just stared at it. It was like just deadpan. I was like, just it always reminds me of Digiben. Like I love these side
Did
characters
you
more
bend?
than
Did you
anything.
bend? Did you bend? Carson and Jack destroy the dance challenge. I mean, that was pretty expected. It was pretty easy pickings for
There's the
them.
ones that did drag or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They also like one of them has performed like on Broadway.
yeah,
So
right. They're like Vegas performers.
no,
And
that
th-
was
that-
the Carson and Jack was or like the Broadway the green guys. That's not the Vegas performers. The Vegas performers were
Oh,
the
Carson and Jack are the mod or the mod, I keep saying Modern Warfare, but they're the ones that do the streaming with the
yeah, they had the green
Dungeons and
they
Dragons.
had the dark green attire on. The one
They're
had like the
Dungeons and Dragons
headband.
guys, right?
I think they're the Dungeons and Dragons guy. Like
I'm pretty sure.
either way, but one of them has like I said they performed on like Broadway or whatever.
Yeah.
So um Lady Judge, we talked about Lady Judge. Nick and Mike, seven attempts. We talked about them. Alyssa and Josiah were the first ones to finish the singing. So singing was a nightmare, man.
The fact that, and this is like you said, if it's singing, it needs to just be singing. Why are we dancing? That's not really fair. It's bogus.
Yeah, and you know, we said we talked about Mark and Larry, man. Mark and Larry are there doing. This is the dance, obviously, right? But Courtney and Jasmine pass them, and that's just a nightmare for them.
Yeah. So you knew that it was done. Uh,
Obviously, I wrote this is even before I had the results here. I wrote singing obviously proves to be more difficult. Pops and Jeff. Pops had a great line. Do it the Chinese way.
I also like
No
that Jeff.
bouncing, no bouncing, all stiff.
I also like that Jeff was like, I want him. I want to be the man. You look good as a woman. The other thing that I really liked about like the dance thing too is like you had to wear the pants to the checkpoint. So these people are running through the streets with the pants, and then like the singing, you still have the full face of makeup on, and like these dudes have these like weird. I thought that was really funny.
Felt like New Year's Day for me. Like
Yeah,
I'm walking around after the parade. I still got all the crap
yeah.
on.
It yeah it made me laugh. I enjoyed that.
The pit stop of the episode, the technical double pit stop, the West Kowloon Cultural District Art Park Terrace. I was like, when I seen that pop up on the screen, I had to pause. I was like, oh my
Oh
God.
yeah, dude. So many times I had it right, like pause and right.
Carson and Jack win the leg overall as they had won the dancing, won 3,000 cash, $3,000 in cash money.
Yeah.
Brett and Mark second in the Lion Dance, second overall. Josiah and Alyssa, as I mentioned, first in the opera, which made them fourth overall, or third overall, excuse me. They won 3,000 as well for winning their individual leg. Fourth overall, or so yeah, no, so I got it wrong now. So it's fifth overall, but fourth in the Lion Dance. That would be Burn. Is it Bernie
Bernie and
and
Kerrigan.
Carrigan? Um, so fifth in the Lion Dance, sixth overall was Nick and Mike. Sixth in the Lion Dance, seventh overall, Courtney and Jasmine. Then we had let's see, John and Anna, second in the opera. That made them eighth overall. Uh,
Didn't Mark and Larry get right there with Courtney and Jasmine?
I must have skipped Mark and Larry.
Yeah, they were there like that. That was actually a close foot race between the 5, 6, 7 on the Lion Dance.
It's Nick and Mike. How I wrote it at least. Nick and Mike, Courtney and Jasmine, John and Anna, Scott and Lori, Pops and Jeff, Hunt and Holden, Melinda and Erica, and then with obviously Mark and Larry and Jackie and Lauren being eliminated. So I just didn't write them down.
Yeah, they were literally seconds.
I probably just missed them on
Yeah,
the
I mean it's fine, but that's what like again old people going out early. I don't like it.
14 teams. I was like, whoa, they are doing the final scene quick. They were running some names in and they're bunching a bunch. Like, it's good. Again, I liked it, Brian. I had no real issues. And like we usually have some kind of complaints. I mean, outside of you maybe not being happy with like losing certain people.
It's just that way. It's inevitable.
Look, Mark and Larry were fun. They had never been out of the country. They do a lot of biking in their motorcycle club. They were cool dudes. I would have loved to see them see the world through their eyes. That would have been fun. Um, Jackie and Lauren, they were the classic. Logan, when you do watch this, right? The Jackie and Lauren were the classic, just happy to be there people. I want you to rank like some of the all-time just happy to be there, amazing race people because they were not racing.
And that's my only thing. I'm not upset that they left because they literally didn't really care. I mean, Mark and Larry cared. They literally got seventh. They got eighth place of the entire race. And
They were the last people down the stairs to start from the museum, and even though they were all in like the same flight, it seemed
oh
like they were
yeah,
no matter what in the back of the line.
and yeah, just old people going out. But you know what I want to see is just they were just different. And like I want to bring up the handsome stranger comment that he said in the airport. I thought that was so funny, and it just under the radar. People probably didn't even catch it, but I thought that was hilarious, and I want to see more of that kind of conversation. But
Grandpa jokes.
it, I want to say Jonathan and Anna. I mentioned it. How could this dude, like such a likable dude in the beginning, he stinks, man. Then why are they back together? Why is she with him? She should have been like, why would
I know. We're gonna
that's
have to see.
crazy to me,
Maybe
man.
listen. Maybe the Amazing Race brought them back together, and it'll tear them apart.
He's like, second place, not good enough, man.
Oh
Not good
God, what a
enough for second
sour
place.
puss.
Yeah. I was like,
Oh,
dude,
John Cena went heel.
because remember she was climbing up the thing and he's like, are you she's like, I'm tired. You're like, you're tired already? It's like, dude, you haven't done anything. You haven't done anything yet, my guy.
My guy, you need to sit the next couple plays out, bro.
Yeah.
Sulk for a little while.
They did kind of
Um,
get yeah.
yeah, we're just gonna sit here and
I
dog
mean,
this
yeah.
dude. It's too like we're late. It's late.
It's so late in the night because of
We're just gonna
straight.
dog this dude. Um, Overall, really great premiere. I am looking forward to reviewing it weekly. Thursday nights clearing up a little bit, folks. As we mentioned, Traders USA, we just recorded the season 3 finale and reunion review. We also are covering Survivor 48. What the hell else are we doing, Brian?
Bachelor, Summer House, Love is Blind, Southern Hospitality, Southern Charm. Uh,
Bang, bang.
it's the only thing I do. Love and Hip Hops.
Love is Blind finishing up
Yeah,
season 8
just ton of
tomorrow
stuff, ton
night.
of stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, plenty of things going on. Temptation Island's coming back. We are doing 90 Day Fiance.
yeah.
Plenty of other things. Check out our Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, especially. We do TikTok content most days, all at the Reality Guys. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate it. Looking forward to next week, and welcome back, everybody. Peace.